All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Hearthmind Conqueror Series this week. This is our first installment of the Conqueror Series. It's going to be our new weekly on Friday night series that we're hosting, which is in the new Conquest format that Blizzard's going to be using for the World Championship Series. Tonight I'm joined by Bullock, Askier, Watson, and Alex DeBoss of Team Hearthmind. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm pretty good.
I'm personally doing great. Just hit legend for the first time today.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So tonight in our finals, we're gonna or actually, my mistake. We're doing the third place match first. We're gonna have Zhulander, who's bringing tonight Druid, Rogue, and a Warrior, against Void, who's bringing Hunter, Druid, and Warrior. Which to me, I'm interested to see this because Warrior is kind of taking a little bit of a decline lately. You don't see that much of it, so. I'd like to see the lists that they're running. I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Well, personally, the last 2 days or so, I've been seeing more and more Control Warrior come back because Hunter is going towards the mid-range list, and Control Warrior doesn't get overrun by the very fast Face Hunter. It has a way better chance. It's a direct counter to the mid-range Hunter.
hmm
Yeah, I would agree. And also, I've seen Freeze Mage seems like it's making a little bit of a resurgence. Like for a while, I saw pretty much no Freeze Mage anywhere, and on the ladder lately, that's been. I mean, it's not everywhere, but it is making a comeback where here and there I will run into Freeze Mages again, and we all know that Warrior Sport's a great matchup against Freeze Mage. It's pretty much an auto win.
Yeah.
Well, the meta slowed down in general. We're not seeing that much. Like a week ago, the meta was just Cancer Hunter and Mech Mage, pretty much exclusively. And right now, we see a lot more mid-range deck, which in turn means that we can see a lot of the control decks come back.
Yeah, so I'm honestly I'm happy about it because I tend to enjoy the a little bit slower matchups than just like the burn down the face. So I think it's a good thing. It allows more diversity too in the meta, I think. So have they said are they ready to get into their first game, or are we still waiting for them
Yes,
to queue up?
yes, they did. They should be ready and queuing up in just a second.
Okay. So from the games that I saw earlier, I was able to watch some of Zoolander. And I saw his rogue. I mean, we can all probably safely assume oil rogue, but it is the Violet Teacher version because I know there's a couple different variations going around right now. So we have that to go on. Void, I saw his hunter, and that was the typical mid-range hunter list that you see a lot on ladder right now, with the freezing traps, the tops out at Doctor Boom. It looked like the pretty much the standard list there. As far as the two druids, though, I did not get to see either one of them play their druids in any of the earlier matches, so I'm interested to see that, what they brought, whether it's a ramp or a little bit faster druid.
All four players, both the guys we have right now and the guys that will be playing in the finals, all four of them brought a druid tonight.
I mean,
Good.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't disagree with that because druid is pretty much is and has always been like a safe pick. You know, druid doesn't have too many just terrible matchups that you just auto lose. It can definitely take wins off anything.
Are they getting ready?
They are. They were having some difficulties here. Zoolander didn't notice that he had his list friendless full, so
Ah,
Oh,
okay, so they're getting ready to add each other and get started.
yes, they should be getting starting in just a minute.
Oh well.
he has friends.
As far as technical issues go, that's not too bad. Pretty minor.
Yes, that's something that can be easily fixed.
Yeah. And
Just give some hoop.
I was going to say, just as an aside to everybody that came out tonight, I just wanted to thank you guys for being so understanding and working with us as we had like the little bit of server hiccup when we were going through our check-in process today. So we appreciate that. You guys were awesome, and we look forward to having you back again next week with hopefully sans the issues.
Yeah. This is one of our very few slip-ups, though. I don't think we've really messed up really at all before.
Yeah, and I mean, it's bound to happen because, I mean, it's an online game. It's kind of the nature of it, you know, that, like, for lack of a better way to put it, the internet's full of assholes. So, you know, sooner or later, and as far as it could have went a lot worse. I mean, we started half an hour later than we originally planned, but other than that, the tournaments went off pretty much without a hitch. So I can't really complain on that level.
Yeah. There was a minor hitch that I don't think anyone brought OTK Priest.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see that anytime soon.
No, no, we need to. If anyone's watching, just please, please bring OTK Priest. I want to cast OTK Priest.
Oh no.
Okay, they started the game right now. We won't be seeing OTK Priest. I don't know if I should say thankfully or unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Oh, and it starts with a Druid mirror match.
One's golden.
So are you're going to give the edge to the golden druid here?
Oh, we have to. And I mean, all jokes aside, that really means that he has more experience with the class.
Right. Robotically, he's gonna make the decisions that are better, easier.
Though Zhulander's starting hand has a coin, innervate, a zombie chow, I mean, anything you can wish for.
Yeah, I was just going to say...
Chow's a little bit much in an opening hand, but still not too bad.
Yeah.
And even in like a druid mirror match, I don't think necessarily that zombie chow is all that valuable though, because you don't really have the early minions that you want to trade that into. You're just going to end up swinging it at face more than likely.
Right.
Which looks like probably why he coined these out here, just to start pushing for damage as quickly as he can.
And I agree with that decision. Especially since he has an innervate shield master turn. Well, now he has a better option, but
That's
he didn't
actually
have that option before.
Yeah. That definitely
That's
changed.
obviously a better play here.
Save and innervate. You don't need Senjin out right now. Looks like pretty obvious follow the curve piloted shredder. There's an option to develop his shade. He will actually go for that.
I don't know if I like that. I'm a big fan of using all the mana you have, and the shade right now really doesn't do all that much.
It trades with the zombie chows, but then again, so does the shredder. So maybe he just values getting the shade out earlier.
Yeah,
And the shredder would trade with both of them and leave a minion down, which the shade doesn't.
Right.
I think what he could have been looking at too is that the zombie chows is essentially 10 health that he just has in the bank on the board at this point. So he can kind of be patient and let them hit his face for the time being to ramp into his other stuff. Whereas if he played the shredder out, it would have just died to the two zombie chows and he wouldn't have regained the full 10 health.
With this Cenarius, if these zombie chows survive to turn 7 and you can innervate Cenarius, then all of a sudden they're threats.
Yeah, that would be quite the unexpected thing from two zombie chows on turn 1 for them to live all the way to see Cenarius. That would actually...
Well, maybe Senjin pull it out.
I do agree with this play here, though, because, like Tim said, it's essentially 10 health in the bag for Void. So for Zhulander to trade in whenever he got an opportunity, I totally agree with the play.
Yeah.
And two, I mean, it's the zombie chow's going to die sooner or later. It's not as though like you're really planning to not give that health back. So by him using it to make an efficient trade there, like you said, I don't think it was a bad choice at all because he eliminated the Druid of the Claw, which is much more valuable than a 2/3.
And also, that makes his Senjin live.
Okay, so on Zoolander's side, he drew into his shade.
It's not actually looking that great. There is an upside that his big game hunter is in the hand, which directly counters Dr. Boom in the opponent's hand.
Yeah, but with his minions getting low on health like this, Dr. Boom is... The boom bots are going to be devastating.
Yep.
And even
And
the
the boom
shade...
bots have a good chance of taking out that shade.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say, that they could very well take out the shade, and it doesn't even have the opportunity to grow to a point of being effective.
Dr. Boom, Dr. Balanced.
Yeah, I mean, turn 7, if you have Dr. Boom, you pretty much play Dr. Boom.
Right.
This, ooh, man.
It could be an Innervate Cenarius turn rather than a big game hunted turn, and I wouldn't be surprised because you have all these low health minions that you want to keep alive.
Yeah, and also, too, he's got to be concerned about Savage Roar at this point.
Well, that's also true, yeah.
Especially with a 5 attack shade sitting there, that's, with the Savage Roar, that's 7 health by itself. Or 7 damage, however you put it. But it's 7 coming at your face. Plus whatever he buffs off his board, or if he innervated into a Force of Nature, that could very well end the game there.
It's like he's going for a big game hunter.
It's a safer play, but at the same time, what are you going to do with your 4 other mana?
You are going to Hero Power and waste 2 mana.
I wonder if he's going to hit the bot. It's so risky.
Yeah, I think you still do it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that was painful right there. That was about the worst case scenario he could have had.
That was the worst case scenario because 4 wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's got to be so soul crushing too to be sitting there and just watch the bomb fly in slow motion.
Yeah. Something beyond your control, just blowing up your chances of winning. Possibly. Looking very grim.
Yeah.
It is. And what do you do as Zoolander at this point? Do you Black Knight a 2/2 taunt?
You top deck Twisting Nether. Nope.
Oh. Yeah, he couldn't even innervate out the Black Knight and the Druid of the Claw, so he's in very bad shape. I think
he innervates Cenarius.
Yeah, he's got to play Cenarius. That's about the only thing that's going to keep him alive at this point, I think.
And then I guess you trade into a 2/2. It's depressing, but
It is, but I think you have to.
because
Because if not, the 2/2s just trade with each other, and you can take at a minimum of 11 to the face.
oh, that's also true. Yes, I didn't think about that one.
Or, excuse me, a minimum of 12, because the shade will grow.
Alright, the Ancient of Lore is just more fuel to the fire here that Zoolander really doesn't have any good tools to deal with. And that shade is just growing out of hand at this point. It's kind of like the old Undertaker in that way, where, you know, once it gets past a certain point, it's so hard to deal with, especially for druids, which don't really have the hard removal that a lot of other classes do.
Yeah.
Like, they essentially have to kill that shade outright.
The perfect counter here would be another BGH, but we don't know if he's running it, and it's really not popular lately to run 2.
Yeah. It's kind of slow with all the mech mages running around. You can't exactly run 2 and win a lot of games.
So he does draw another taunt, but I don't think that's going to be enough to...
I think that's just delaying the inevitable.
Oh, Trump is crying somewhere.
Well, if you think about it, Boulder Fist Ogre is a 6/7, right? So if you take away 2/2 from that, you get a 4/5. So it's technically right on the 6 mana value.
The math is correct.
Yeah, the math is correct. I don't know about the theory, though.
theory, though, is totally wrong. You want more out of Black Knight.
Okay,
Put
so,
him next to be the MVP.
so game one is going to go to Void there with his Druid. So that leaves him with Hunter or Warrior as his next two choices. What are you expecting to see from him here?
I think we're definitely going to see Hunter because you don't want to run your Warrior into a Druid, and Hunter has a solid matchup against everything.
If it's the mid-range hunter, which I assume it is, then he definitely should pull it out. It has a fairly decent matchup against a druid.
Yeah, the Hunter is what I'm expecting as well, because like you said, Hunter can definitely take a win off of any matchup, and the Warrior, which I mean, granted though, Zoolander does not have to keep the same deck, so he
What are
could
his options to switch into?
Druid, Rogue, or Warrior.
Which personally, I would not be surprised to see him switch to warrior, because his warrior would be amazing against the hunter,
And
and the
possibly,
warrior mirror match is not that bad.
Yeah, I actually like the Warrior as his pick here. Which
I think if I were in his shoes, I would switch to Warrior.
Well, we're about to find out.
and then it comes to just which Void would feel more confident with, I guess you could say, out of his two choices. But I'm interested to see the Warrior though,
Yeah.
because we've seen a little bit of variation coming into Warriors now. Like some of them are running a little bit more of the mechs, like the piloted mechs in particular.
Yeah. High five to everyone. We guessed the switches completely correctly.
Yeah, it is going to be Warrior and Hunter, so. Looking at Void's opening hand, the two Abusive Sergeants kind of hurts unless it's a Face Hunter, but it.
I think he's gonna coin the Scientist so he can double abusive it and go face next turn.
And I agree with the play, especially since for some unknown reason, warrior does not have war axe in its opening hand.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a rare case for sure.
I guess it's not a 100% thing.
Now, the Armor Smith puts him in kind of a interesting situation here. Now, if you were in Void's position, would you kill off the Armor Smith with one of the Abusive Sergeants just to deny him that armor?
I
I
would.
personally would.
Yeah,
I would keep the owl either for a taunt or for a card draw.
And maybe you hold abusive for Whirlwind. You don't want to just throw it out there for nothing and have it die to Whirlwind.
Yeah, I agree with the play.
And now you can use it to kill the next Armor Smith, which happens to be there.
yeah, that's definitely probably going to have Zoolander pulling his hair out when he sees this. Sees the
Yeah.
exact same thing over again. And I
He
mean,
gets to put a secret out.
Which I assume is going to be an explosive trap, because that hunter looks really aggressive. I did not see the mechs in any of the slower hunters.
Yeah.
yeah, judging by the clockwork, I would definitely say it's more of a Face Hunter, which makes me like
Is-
the angle of him eliminating the Armor Smith as soon as possible even better. Because that, as a Face Hunter against a Warrior, it's not a good matchup, and you just cannot let their armor get out of hand, or you pretty much have no way of winning.
Shield block pass, that is not very good, but it was the only option there. Have to find something.
But drawing that second explosive was equally bad, because you really didn't do anything. You can't play it.
Mhm.
Okay, so
No, Harrison.
It's pretty bad, because what do you do here? You can either play Cruel Task and then Hero Power, or play a Naked Harrison knowing that the bow is there somewhere.
yeah,
I like Task and Armor Up because that way you're healing for 4. because you take 2 off the board and you also armor up, versus Harrison, you don't gain any life at all. And it might be a freezing trap, in which case you totally don't want to freeze a 5-mana thing to your hand.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you can assume it's an explosive, seeing the nature of the deck, nature of the minions that are being played. But you're
Yeah.
right. In case it was a freezing for some reason, it's way better to freeze a Cruel Task and use it again than freeze a Harrison.
Yeah, and that's the Misha is probably not what Void really wanted to see there.
Yeah. Anything would have been fantastic. Huffer, obviously great. Leok would have buffed 3 guys. And a 4/4 for 3 mana, you totally can't argue with that. That's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, all the animal companions are great value for what you pay for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, out of his choices there, I think if I was sitting in his position, I would probably be least pleased with the fact that I just drew Misha out of that. But it's certainly not a bad thing, because, like, again, Zhulander's sitting here looking at another very awkward turn.
Well, he has absolutely nothing to play.
I think you Harrison and pass. Hope that the Harrison can somehow kill the 4/4 and set up a Dr. Boom into Baron Geddon. You just don't want the 4/4 to be on the board when your next plays are going to be Dr. Boom and Baron Geddon. You only want small stuff.
Oh, I agree. It still feels terrible to play and naked Harrison
It is pretty
against
terrible.
a hunter that already has a trap developed.
Ooh,
So-
and that emergency coolant. That is going to slow the warrior down a lot.
I don't think I would use it right now, though.
I would.
Yeah, I like it because it pretty
It's
much
4 extra
guarantees, that Misha's going to live another turn. Unless he has a Death Spite, which in that case he'd have to run his face into it anyway, and you're still getting the extra damage out.
Oh, never mind. I played a mid-range hunter for the past week straight, so I'm thinking it's a freezing trap just because that's what I play.
Oh.
Never mind.
Yeah. I see what
Never
you're
mind.
saying.
This is totally correct.
So it's turn 7, there's Dr. Boom in hand, so we are going to see Dr. Boom come out. Naturally.
Yes, I mean, turn 7, you have Dr. Boom, you play Dr. Boom. That's simple as that.
Baron Geddon is another option, but that doesn't really do much. It injures yourself and it pops the Haunted Creeper.
Yeah, and
So-
it's going to die to Misha plus a token anyway. And he's
And Shield
also...
is too weak to take back the board right now.
Yeah, Dr. Boom is obvious play next turn.
Dang, he's going for very safe.
I can take the hit.
Yeah, he's basically just trying to stay alive with that, I think.
I think it was too early. I think that was a next turn play after Dr. Boom.
I would tend to agree with you on that, Alex, because that way he would be able to... he would be able to armor up with the Shield Maiden as well.
Yeah, hits the curve, and then you have Boombots throwing at your opponent.
And
Try
the...
to their constant damage.
Yeah, and the Whirlwind really didn't do much for him there, because
Right.
either of these two minions are going to kill that Misha anyway. So he really didn't gain anything by that other than killing the abusive sergeant. And he also
think-
missed out on the opportunity to eliminate the 2/1/1 tokens in a single shot.
Yeah, that's a huge one. That's 2 damage that you might take as a result later. Unleash the Hound's hero power most likely, because you have the Owl in hand. You don't need to kill command right away because you'll have a beast for it. Use it trading. It's kind of interesting. Kind of feels like an all face time, but that's definitely reasonable. It's a great trade.
Yeah, he's probably going to regret using the Hunter's Mark.
Oh, yep, especially with that. Which probably isn't going to be played this turn, but next turn,
I personally like Baron Geddon right here.
I don't, because you play it, you damage yourself for 2, and your opponent's board is identical to the way it was before you started.
Yeah, but you got to
It's still-
figure, a face hunter, how many threats do they have that can live through Baron Geddon? I
Not a
mean,
lot.
Not a lot, but they
Sell.
still deal damage the turn they're played.
So
Yeah,
you
and they do
deal
run the
damage to yourself.
charge.
Then you give your opponent 2 damage, so that's dealing 4 damage. You're at 9. Then they hero power you. You're at 7 now. And then they just leave your Baron Geddon alive.
Yeah, I agree with this play. I like Boom a lot better.
Yeah.
Ooh, and there's the bow.
That's a great top deck.
Baron Geddon would be such an amazing card if it didn't deal damage to yourself. But it's a small problem with Baron Geddon that makes a big difference.
Even if it did 2 damage to all minions and not the opponent hero and not your hero, I still think it would be better for that deck.
Yeah.
Got rid of the beasts.
It's pretty good. It looks like you're probably going to go for Belcher and armor up. Oh no, he's gonna trigger the explosive trap, so he goes for Alexstrasza that way. I figured Alexstrasza was a next turn play, but if you want to trigger explosive trap, then you probably need to reset your health.
Which that looks fine.
Yeah.
Either way was fine. I wouldn't argue with either of those plays.
Yeah, because he's sitting on a strong board now that, having seen the Hunter's Mark already come out, Void is certainly going to have a hard time dealing with the 8/8. I mean, he can kill command the Dr. Boom, but even that, it eliminates some of his reach to be able to finish off the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't want to use those kill commands, because then if a taunt comes out, which it will, you don't have anything that can go past that.
This explosive trap is actually quite troublesome.
Yeah, I wonder why he used his Dr. Boom and not Alexstrasza to get through that taunt.
The hesitation after he traded kind of suggests to me that it might have been a mistake.
And this is the game.
I'm interested at why he went for double Belcher instead of Belcher armor up, and then play a Belcher and armor up the next turn. Because one Belcher is enough. You're not going to take face damage with one Belcher on the board. So armor up to get the extra health, because health is so valuable right now.
I agree, and with 7 health, you know you die to a kill command hero power.
Yeah.
Though, in his defense, he would have been dead either way.
He would have been dead either way, but Ironbeak Owl is a less common card, and Kill Command is a in every deck card.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think the Belcher plus the hero power would have been the better play there, but either way, it was all she wrote for Zhulander's Warrior.
And I like the fancy lethal that Void came up with, as opposed to the just very simple put any beast in kill command hero power.
Okay, so that was Zhulander's Warrior against Void's Hunter. So now we know Void's last pick is going to be Warrior. So what do you think Zhulander's going to match up against the Warrior out of the Druid, the Rogue, and his own Warrior, which we just saw?
Druid would be my guess, because Druid tends to have too many threats for Warrior's answers.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I would agree with that. Because looking at Oil Rogue, it's one of those decks that has a finite amount of damage in it.
Yeah.
So that's something that if a warrior builds up a good amount of armor, they just really wouldn't have a way to burst through it. And I mean, if he picks warrior into warrior, that just really, it shows he's that confident in his mirror matchup. So that
It doesn't
kind of
really matter, because all 3 decks have to win.
Yes, but it's nice to build up momentum. It's a mental game at this point.
Yeah.
So you want to bring out something that has the best chance of winning and get that momentum back in your favor.
Yeah, and all 3 of his decks are going to have to beat this warrior too. So even if he does take the next 2 games with the druid and his warrior, he would still have to play that oil rogue matchup at some point.
He is playing the Oil Rogue matchup right now. I don't actually know if it's bad. If Oil Rogue is able to get minions out and deal with early armor, then it's fine in my opinion.
You just have to get the warrior down before he starts playing all his shield maiden and shield blocks and getting ridiculous amounts of basically health back.
Yeah. Also, having a large board that doesn't get brawled or cleared efficiently using the Violet Teachers helps quite a bit because you need that constant damage.
Now, Tim, you mentioned that you saw this deck before, and this is the Violet Teacher version, right?
It is the version running Violet Teachers. I had seen him playing in the semifinals.
Well, there you go. There's
There you go.
knife pass probably without hitting. It doesn't really matter to hit. And you have Farseer next
Yes,
turn.
he has a turn 3 play, so I agree with passing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit now, though, just because you want to take off armor. Because you don't want your minions to be shield slammed. But maybe not.
Well, even if he leaves one armor, the Earthen Ring Farseer, if he plays it, would still be able to get shield slammed with just a hero power.
I was thinking further in the future, not allowing him to easily shield slam your Violet Teacher.
I like leaving the charge on the dagger, though, I think. Because if you look at his next couple turns coming up, he's probably not going to have much mana to spare to throw on a fresh dagger. So I think it was a safer play in terms of planning out where he's going down the road to make sure he has both charges on it if he were to draw into a deadly poison that he wants to play, or possibly a sharp sword oil.
It's usually better to keep your options open, unless you absolutely know that you're going to be redaggering soon.
Yeah,
Then
that's...
there's a reason to hit with the dagger.
Yeah, because it's only 1 point, and I mean, granted, 1 point can add up over time, but
Yeah.
in this situation, I really don't see it having been worth it to swing in.
Oh, that's interesting. Keeping that Violet Teacher alive.
He can just clear everything it makes with Whirlwind next turn.
Yeah,
So
and
I understand, definitely.
holding the
Especially
1
with that.
damage AoE is definitely... It's like an ace in a hole against this, and I mean, also, too, he probably has it in there for Paladin matchups as well, because, between the Fan of Knives or Whirlwinds, which are both 1 damage AoEs, they can just completely shut down what a Paladin's trying to do at times. So
Yeah, I
here,
can see that.
So many options.
so what do you do if you're Zhulander here? Ooh, he's gonna fan an empty
We're
board.
just gonna cycle.
Whoa, he's gonna play Thalnos also just for the cycle. I think that's a little on the gambling side against Whirlwind.
It is, and also it shows your opponent that you really don't hold anything in your hand.
Yeah, it shows your opponent that your hand is pretty terrible, because you wouldn't do that with a good hand, I don't think.
Though he may be betting against Whirlwind, his opponent not having it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, from there, that enables the Eviscerates next turn.
He might just full-on rush him if he doesn't have Whirlwind, so I could see why.
Whirlwind is pretty much in every control warrior at this point, though.
But, yeah, actually,
Paladins and oil rogues, you just have to have it.
yeah.
And he picks up his
So, either-
second... Go ahead, Alex.
Either coin Cruel Taskmaster or just hit it with your weapon.
I like Coin Cruel Taskmaster because you want to have minions on the board against a rogue.
You might coin Cruel Taskmaster on your own Acolyte. Nope, neither. So what were you gonna say, Tim?
I honestly, I don't even recall now. It probably wasn't that important. I think I was...
Wasn't really important.
Yeah. No, I think I was just watching the draw that he got off the Acolyte, seeing
Oh,
that
yeah.
he picked up his second shield slam. So he is holding quite a bit of removal between the Cruel Task, the 2 shield slams,
The Doctor Boom.
the ever popular Dr. Boom, yes.
You have the mana for Doctor Boom, you have to play him.
Well, it's just risky. You see the rogue holding 5 cards and hasn't played much yet, so he's probably holding those spells. That's a lot of burst.
I like Shield Maiden right here and probably coin Shield Slam to clear.
Makes sense.
I like it.
Because also, too, the Shield Maiden is not something that he wants to sap, so it's probably going to stick to the board or eat direct damage.
If he's sapping that, he's conceding the game. You don't want to sap that.
Exactly.
You can eviscerate it.
You can, but that Shield Maiden just healed for 10.
Yeah, exactly. That's one less Eviscerate that's going to be coming at him to try to finish him off. So it definitely, she took the hit all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great play.
Yeah, she lived up to her motto there.
Shield Slam's got a lot of value.
Yeah, and that's why we were talking about earlier that you can't let the warrior build up the armor, because not only does his health get higher, but like I've seen some ridiculous shield slams before where, you know, where they're sitting on 10 armor plus, and, you know, for 1 mana they're able to just
Take out a Sarah.
yeah, exactly, take out a Sarah or Ragnaros, Dr. Boom, any number of, like, you know, big minions that you essentially spend your whole turn playing, and they're able to eliminate it for 1, plus they have the rest of their mana bar to develop their board. So in that sense, it can be quite a swing card too. Now at 8 here, he could silence the teacher.
I would not be opposed to that because you really don't have any other silence targets.
Yeah, because I don't... Go ahead.
To it because you have Baron Geddon that you're probably going to play anyway soon, which means you don't care about the 1/1s.
So it is... It looks like he's thinking about Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom's always the right play. Just
Right,
do it.
you have that to play it, you might as well. Yep, Dr. Boom.
Do you think we're going to see Dr. Boom get sapped right here?
Sapping it is kind of bad.
Yeah, it is, but if he wants to
also-
replay it, he's going to be forced to spend pretty much his whole turn doing so. Yes, he will get the 2 more boom bots out of it, but...
I would not be surprised if we see it.
Because with the Violet Teacher... The Violet Teacher tokens are pretty good at soaking bombs.
He is going to go for the oil, hoping that it doesn't go on the one that's sleeping.
See,
Well, it's going to be 2 of them that are going to be sleeping.
Oh, that's right. So 50-50 that it does something good, and it does do something.
does.
It's huge.
yeah, that was actually a great place for it to land.
And SI7 probably take out the Boombot.
Yep.
And I mean,
That's a lot.
Yeah, that just
Well, RNG is in his favor.
Yeah.
dramatically changed the face of what we were looking at there.
He could hide an Armor Smith behind a Belcher and silence the Violet Teacher to take off the buff. That's probably what he's gonna do. That is exactly what he's gonna
Yes. And take out the buff and take out the ability to summon more 1/1s.
do. hmm
Pretty much as much value as you're going to get in this matchup.
Oh, that's big. Instant play. Is that lethal? That's
No,
close.
because of the armor smith. Actually, with the eviscerate, it might be.
He's 3 off.
3, no, he's off, yeah. I wasn't looking at the slime.
I just couldn't count that fast, I'm not going to lie. I was sitting here trying to do the math, sitting here thinking it was a 1, 2, 3, but no, it didn't quite add up.
If it wasn't 1 a.m., then we probably would be able to do it.
Yeah, you know, the little hamster wasn't running on the wheel fast enough in my head.
Probably shield block because he needs the help and nothing in his hand deals with the board.
Shield block and Geddon looks alright. Geddon kills 2 of the 3 minions on board.
Yeah. Shield block and hope for something better though, because I think you want to execute. Oh, another shield block.
Yeah, that's...
You go for that and execute.
I like the double shield block.
I do too.
I don't know, I still would kind of stick with Geddon, just because the other shield block, you're not taking anything off the board. Well, the execute will take one thing of it.
Baron Geddon, I just don't like it there because it damages yourself, and then your opponent can just leave it alive and keep damaging you with it. This clears enough of the board, and the health is pretty high here.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, that the Oil Rogue can be so bursty that...
Like that?
Yeah, exactly. Like that? Where if he hadn't... Or does he have enough here? 4 plus 7 is 11.
Tinker's Oil.
15. Yeah, if he did it, he would be 2 points short, even with the Eviscerate. So, yeah, he's going to need both charges on the dagger.
I think you definitely oil here, because you want the extra 3 on the minion that's attacking.
Yeah, I would agree. And
he's thinking about it, but I agree. I think he should oil this turn.
That's 3 free damage. He might be afraid of Harrison, and he doesn't want to do it when he can't get the 4 right away. Or the 3 on the weapon right away.
The Belcher that's a big draw right there, because that's going to allow him to delay a little bit more.
That's the only player else he dies.
Yeah. And I mean, his hand is so clogged right now.
Yeah, all that mana.
And Belcher just feels so bad because other than that, the only thing he can do is hero power.
Yep. You have to hope that you draw something you can use.
Yeah, because it's like, at this point, he's just like that one step behind feeling where he has to answer what his opponent does every turn just to keep himself alive. But
he dies if he plays anything else, right?
Yes.
He's not aware of the Eviscerate in hand, though.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
And from what he's showing on the board right now is only 10.
Yeah. So, if he goes for anything that isn't Sledge Belcher, he dies, but he doesn't know that. I think Baron Geddon would be the worst play.
Well, Baron Geddon makes you dead on board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. Baron Geddon is the obvious worst play.
Yeah.
That's more than lethal.
Icing on the cake.
I was going to say, if it wasn't sealed there, that definitely...
Straight. Prep it. Prep it. No. Missed BM.
Missed BM.
Display. Well, the rogue won.
Yeah, so Zhulander is not going down without a fight. He's going to make a series out of this. So Void, we know, is still going to be playing the Warrior here. Now, it's going to be either Druid or a Warrior Mirror match, which, like you were saying earlier, either one of those is not a bad matchup. So Zhulander actually, by taking that win with the Rogue there, he put himself into a position where he's able to come back.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. The Warrior is more of a 50-50, and the Druid is probably favored. So it's a little bit below 50-50, but it's getting close.
Okay, and they're jumping right into the game, so... And it is going to be the Druid he went with here.
And I agree with that. I mean, you want to leave the mirror match for the last one. And with this game, he'll be somewhat favored in the mirror match because he'll probably see most of Void's deck at that point. whereas his warrior might have some surprises in it.
Yeah, and in the opening mulligan, we saw he had a Kel'Thuzad, and I'm seeing here the Ancient of War. So
Oh yeah,
this could be like the taunt version,
this
you
may
know,
not.
of the Ramp Druid.
This is the version I play, and it doesn't have combo. Basically, people just play around combo, and you don't actually need it because they just play terribly towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I've seen the version that runs a lot of taunts in two different ones. One with combo, one without. Like I've seen the one that without that runs like the Kel'Thuzad and Sneeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that version a while back, late last season, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I was playing it a little bit earlier this season, and it was a lot of fun. Just getting to drop all those big guys out there and make your
Like
opponent
Alex
cry
said,
when they can't get through it.
like Alex said, people are playing around a combo that's not there.
Right. That's what's so genius about it.
So I'm looking at Void's hand here.
Both hands are not desirable, but for Void, that's actually good because the Druid's not doing anything, which plays perfectly into the Warrior strategy.
Well, both those decks are very late game, so
Yeah, but by turn 5, you're wanting to play something, even if you're a late game Druid.
Yeah, and the Fiery War Axe is really not going to get much use at all, I don't think. Just
Probably
looking
get
through.
the base eventually.
Yeah. Possibly to squeeze those extra points of damage out in the end if it goes that long.
We might be here all day, we might not.
Yeah. That's another one. The Whirlwind is just not particularly useful in this matchup. So it
He's
does.
just because it fits the curve.
it'll end up being either an Execute or Growmash Enabler.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with the Fiery War Axe right there.
Yeah.
Because Death's Bite has so much more use in terms of ways you can manipulate it to clear out the board or activate other cards, that once you're past that 4 mana point, you pretty much always want that over the axe. So right now
Yeah.
he's just throwing the axe to run in there while there isn't a taunt up. And basically getting a Frostbolt each turn for 2 mana without the freeze. 2 Dark
It's
Bombs.
also kind of looking ahead that he's probably going to want his opponent to be in Growmash range come time for Growmash to be played. Wow, speaking of,
Yeah, and both of these hands are just incredibly top heavy.
yeah,
Like once they start getting into like the next couple turns, it's just going to be bombs coming down from both sides. It's
I
gonna be-
liked how he charged the Druid, just making sure that to keep that armor down.
yeah, I think it's good. He was most likely going to run the weapon in again.
So this is an Ancient
always
of War
so
here,
worried.
correct?
I'm always so worried playing the Ancient of War because the Black Knight value on that is so big.
I would go lore because you want your opponent to use removal on a 5/5, not a 5/10, especially if it has taunt. Black Knight can just kill it on curve.
And he picked up Kel'Thuzad off his draw right there. Which if he can get 1 or 2 of these things to stick, Kel'Thuzad's going to be able to generate a big turn for him.
Yeah, that can definitely swing a game.
And granted, Kel'Thuzad will probably get executed. I would say almost definitely. If you even get 1 turn out of him where you can trade all of your minions in and get them back, especially if they were damaged beforehand, it's it's like you can essentially look at it as heal your entire board and put a 6/8 out if you have things to trade it into.
Yeah.
So it's another one of those cards that can really generate so much value if it's played in the right situation.
He'll probably try to hide it behind taunts, and that's where that whirlwind would come in handy because the whirl and execute combo will get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you Black Knight here? I do like Black Knight because you're not expecting any other taunts in a warrior deck.
Yeah,
Black Knight is basically being saved for Sludge Belcher, so there's no reason to hold off.
Innovate hero power? Okay.
It works. He probably just thinks he doesn't need the mana, and taking that out is pretty good.
And I like keeping the Wrath because of the options of doing either 3 damage or 1 damage if he needs the card.
Yeah. He has enough cards to play, so he doesn't need the cycle.
yeah, enough cards. That's certainly an understatement in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the mana he would have to spend to drop his whole hand.
Yeah.
I have no time for games.
And I like Sylvanas there.
Yeah, I think Sylvanas was the correct play. It's going to be tough to trade the board unless he has Keeper of the Grove, which he does.
Yeah, that's an obvious silence.
Yeah. I think both hands are missing a healthy amount of Deathwing.
Yeah, this keeper here, I think that's going to could be the turning point in the match. I mean, granted, there's still plenty of room for Void to come back.
Yeah, but it's quite a swing.
Yeah, because he's going to lose Sylvanas, probably trade in the Ancient, I think.
Yeah, which has already drawn 2 cards.
Yeah, so it's...
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's
Kelthus?
better.
Okay, I like it.
Better. Never mind. You don't need the silence. You can just get your whole board back.
Yeah, I completely missed that.
Yeah, I
Well,
just do.
the silence wasn't bad because you could silence trade and start developing your shade. Which
Yeah, but would
you
you
get
rather
some value
develop
out of
Kelthuzad or Shade?
Yeah, because, I mean, right there, he essentially got... I mean, granted, without the effects, they're not quite worth that. But, I mean, you could safely say that he got Kel'Thuzad on the board plus an additional, say, estimate the Black Knight as a 4 mana and the Ancient as a 5 mana. He got another 9 mana worth of creatures into play that turn.
Yeah. There's not a lot of options.
I'm kind of surprised the silence on Kel'Thuzad there. I would think he would have executed.
That was an error.
Just because 6/8 is a considerable amount of damage that's going to be coming through at him.
He's thinking quite far ahead. He wants the Death's Bite hit the face so that the next turn he can hit the face with it again or attack a minion. But basically to get the Whirlwind effect after playing a Dr. Boom, probably, to kill his own Boom bots and try to do something with the board. He wants to do a massive clear next turn instead of this turn.
That's gonna be a lot of damage he's taking this turn, though.
Yeah, and if the opponent had combo, that would be lethal.
Well, after seeing Kel'Thuzad, you can kind of assume that the combo's not gonna be there.
Right. Some crazy decks cutting innervates and wild growths to make room for Kel'Thuzad and combo. I don't think any druid would ever do that.
Yeah, there's some things you just don't cut from the deck.
Yeah.
And it's looking pretty grim for the warrior.
I actually think you play Gromash, you attack into the 4-5, and then you run Gromash into the 6-8, and you execute the 5-5, and that's a board clear.
It is, but you're getting rid of your win condition.
Well, your win condition, first of all, you have to survive. But yeah, that's a good point. He goes for something different, which works just as well. Win armor makes sense. To stay alive.
When I saw him coin, I was kind of hoping that he's gonna try to cruel task one of his own boom bots and go for the RNG.
Nope. See.
That's a 1 and 2 for what it hits, and then another 1 and 4.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, so that makes it what 1 and 8, right?
1-8.
It's
Yeah.
not terrible odds.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
I've seen some crazier plays with worse odds than that have actually paid off at times.
Hmm.
So what do you do on the druid side right now?
Anything? You could run in and swipe, and then just play Harrison or a Shade. That's actually not really desirable.
No, because if you don't kill the opponent and you don't taunt up, you're dead next turn.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Time waits for no one.
If Zhulander had an innervate, this would be a very different turn. He could just swipe and then put something big on the board. But you can't do that right now. Swipe, Wrath, Shade. Hope that the bots don't kill the 4-4. Nope,
Which
they killed it.
they did.
Okay, so that
But
is
with the
what we
board
saw.
clear, it's not dead to combo.
This is Baron Geddon for sure. That's such value. He might be considering Fiery War Axe hit the face. I actually agree with War Axe hit the face more than Armor Up.
I do as well. You know it's not the combo druid. He has nothing on the board. Might as well push that damage. And when else are you going to use that axe?
6 extra damage would, I think, make a difference. Yeah, it would. It would make lethal where he wouldn't otherwise have it. If he didn't taunt up, but he did taunt up.
But even still, like I said, if not now, I mean, when are you going to use that axe?
Yeah. I guess he was just afraid of dying. Gromash, Cruel Task, kill the taunt with your Gromash and hit the face for 7.
You have to. It's terrible, but you have to.
What now?
It's not the worst thing ever, because you still have a pretty good board, but you're at 7 health. And you just used a win condition that didn't go to the face, which is risky.
Yeah, and he's getting very close to Zhulander being able to finish him off. 'Cause, I mean, he doesn't see it. We do, but there's the Druid of the Claw, which can charge if need be. Plus, the Keeper of the Groves are able to do 2 damage to face. I mean, it's not a play you see very often, but it can...
It is a play.
Yeah, exactly. It is a play where if you need 2 damage to get something done, it certainly can do it.
Is that lethal? That's really close.
He's 1 point short.
He's 1 point short, yes.
Ouch.
Which actually... Well, no, never mind, because he can armor up afterwards. Because I was going to say, Baron Geddon does 2 next turn.
He can eliminate this whole board, though.
Keeper.
Yeah, keep...
You have board now, so you're great.
I must safeguard them.
I think this game would actually
I've got
Oh, I was about to say this game would look different if he had gone for Fiery War Axe earlier instead of Armor Up, but he would have been dead this turn. So, yeah, it would have looked quite different. Would have been dead.
The Belcher is a good draw there on Void side. It's gonna buy him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
He really,
Buys him time to draw into Alexstrasza.
yeah, he needs a Alexstrasza, or we've seen one of his Shield Maidens, correct?
Oh, I'm sure he runs too.
No, I'm just saying we've only seen one, and we've seen both shield blocks this game, right? Or was that last game that we saw the double shield block?
Mixing up games. I don't know, but we have seen a Shield Maiden at some point, obviously. I don't know if it was this one.
Yeah, I don't think we saw Shield Maiden yet this game. So he has armor in the deck. He's just got to have enough time to dig it out of there.
Harrison Jones. It might actually put something in a museum.
And now
I have a spectator mode glitch on my end. I have a Warlock specific card called Sludge Belcher that's 0 mana for a 0/0.
Huh, that's a new one. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, spectator mode does glitch out every now and then. They're both so close to lethal.
Hopefully I don't miss it. Rejoining.
I think Zhulander might have it this turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got the glitch as well, so I'm rebooting. And if Zhulander wins this, it comes down to Warrior Mirror match for the whole series.
Yeah, he's so close right here. He's got... I'm trying to count up if there's any way he can squeeze it out.
He's one off lethal if he swipes the face, clears the slime, and then hits with Charging Druid and the slime. He's one off.
Wow, and he's just exhausted Void's hand. And
There's nothing really. Oh, wow. I got a Warlock specific 0 mana 0/0 Shield Maiden. Great, so I have to rejoin again.
I think this is about to be over. He needs 15, 4, 5, not quite.
And all cards to Warlock apparently.
See, I would have liked Cenarius there, I think.
I agree. With 3 minions on board, I mean, you're not going to get better value out of that.
Yeah, and yes, he would have lost the slime to the Shield Maiden, but...
He's being super safe by having another taunt on board. Plus having another minion on board is great for Cenarius the following turn.
Yeah, because right here with Alex being the top deck, he definitely... It paid off for him to be able to...
You can Cenarius buff, kill the Shield Maiden, and then the rest can just hit the warrior in the face. Or it could all go to the
Oh,
face.
just go all out.
Yeah.
So it is going to be the mirror match.
Yeah, so this series started out one way, and, you know, by the end of it, it's completely flipped around.
And
So,
this would be the first time since we've done this format where somebody, if it does happen that Zhulander takes it, comes back from being behind 0-2.
Is this just because warrior is really bad and it can't win a game?
well, Warrior's going to have to win a game in the next one. There's
That is
no other
true.
choice unless they...
Gee.
Unless
Speaking
they
has to
double
win.
die at the exact same time off Baron-Geddon, but
Oh, that was fun.
I don't think that's a very likely case.
But even then, we just have to keep replaying the game until someone won, right?
Yeah.
That's called. Oh, we just replay it. Eventually, someone has to win, so Warrior's gonna get a victory.
I like the Golden Warrior too. I think he's one of the best looking heroes in Golden.
I think he is the best looking, and I think the second to him is Golden Mage.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Hunter too. I think Hunter looks pretty cool in
Yeah,
gold
Hunter looks pretty cool,
with the
except the fact that I never want to see them.
yeah, with like the leaves blown by and stuff. I think is a neat effect.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so wow, look at that.
That's a lot of weapons.
Yeah, that is not what he wanted to see right there.
Well, in a warrior mirror match, it's not a bad idea to just try to rush the other one down while building your armor up. So
Yeah.
it goes for that strategy. It might pay off.
So just keep armoring up, and then when you have the mana, you can use a weapon to take out the opponent's armor. Armor advantage is pretty huge in the mirror.
I personally would actually go for the Fire War Axe and hit face. You're sitting on 3 weapons. You need a lot of time to use those.
I would never do that because you want to armor up every turn, and if you do that and hit the face, then you're only taking off 2 armor and 1 health, which isn't very efficient. You're eventually going to use these weapons because this isn't an aggro warrior mirror match. So you're not full on going aggro, you just want to take armor advantage.
Well, Void went for his weapon as soon as he could, having 2, which, like I said, I agree with. And Zhulander is now stuck with 3.
But he probably did it because it took off exactly 4. The other turn where he could have gone War Axe instead of armor up, it would have only taken off 2. Oh, interesting way to lock down the Death Spite. Clearing a minion, no matter which minion he clears, is not looking good. But he can just do the same thing.
And at
Like,
the same
yeah,
time,
like-
take out, which I would personally take out the Acolyte.
Yeah, you have to. Armor advantage isn't as good as card advantage, I think. Especially when you're talking about minimal amounts of armor.
And Void's starting to pull ahead in this game.
Seems like for Warrior Mirror match, both warriors opened pretty well.
Void was the first one to pull the trigger, and it paid off for him tremendously.
Yeah. Armorsmith advantage for Zhulander. Oh my gosh. Both players seem to be mirroring each other's moves.
Which, like I said, with the fact that Void pulled the trigger first, gives him a big advantage.
So Cruel Taskmaster is really good here, but wouldn't you want to Armorsmith first?
Well, he might be trying to pull out Deathspite.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Because Fire War Axe doesn't actually kill it. Void has board advantage, weapon advantage, and armor advantage, but Zhulander has Harrison, so that pulls a lot of weight.
It does, but it's not on curve. It still gives the opponent a lot of armor and only pulls 1 card, so it's not that big of a swing.
I think it's enough on curve because it's a control matchup. You're all gonna have time to spend your mana. It's probably gonna go to fatigue, so mana efficiency isn't the biggest. How fast or how far into the game do you think they're gonna worry about fatigue?
To be honest, I would start thinking about it now. The thing is, with them being a pretty much exact mirror, things like shield block that pull a card are going to work both ways, so you really don't have to worry about that. It's
Yeah.
the acolytes they have to start thinking about.
So they may not actually want to play an acolyte, and if the opponent does play an acolyte, it's worth considering letting him draw multiple cards. He drew Dr. Boom, so naturally you have to play Dr. Boom.
I have no time for
No,
games.
Sylvanas, interesting.
Well, Sylvanas is guaranteed to get at least a slime.
Yeah, which I don't think is at all a good use of Sylvanas in a control matchup.
No, not at all.
Maybe he's preventing something. Like, the opponent has 8 mana. Maybe he's thinking, oh, the opponent's gonna play Dr. Boom, so I should play Sylvanas.
And also, too, there, you can look at it, he was building up his armor as well, which
Yeah,
this
that's
match
true.
is probably going to go to fatigue, and it's going to come down to the point, too, where pretty much every point of armor is going to count. Like, when they exhaust each other's threats, and it just comes to who has the staying power.
It's gonna make him steal a small minion. He gets the better one.
Void is starting to pull away in this matchup.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, and he just drew into the shield slam there, too, which, with the armor total that he's holding right now, he can pretty much deal with anything that Zhulander puts on the board right now, and do it in a very efficient way.
Zhulander really played well around Dr. Boom, because now he has a Death Spite on its final durability, and it's an empty board, nothing but Dr. Boom out there, so no taunts to mess it up. He can just attack the face with it, take off armor, whirlwind everything, and execute to finish off Dr. Boom. That was a really efficient clear.
I can take the hit.
Oh! Oh no, he does have enough mana.
He
I
does
thought
have, with the hero power, he
he
does.
have armor and that he was gonna leave a 7/1 Dr. Boom out, but he has enough mana. Do you like shield slamming over using an execute there?
From where Zoolander's sitting, I kind of like it, because he's sitting at the lesser armor total right now,
I bring life.
that he's thinking he may not have the other opportunity to get the good value out of his shield slam. And he does have the execute as a backup.
Well, now he
Execute
has,
will always work. Shield Slam won't always work. So I do agree with that, with picking the Shield Slam over the Execute.
and at the time, which I just now saw, he had 2 shield slams in hand, so using it would leave him with 1 shield slam and 1 execute, which is better because it leaves the options open.
Now you have to Shield Slam though.
Yeah, and you probably just play Death Spite and hit the opponent.
Yes, I agree. Especially holding 2 Executes, it's good to have that Death Spite with 1 durability.
And a Grom. He's going to save the shield slam.
I'm not sure I like it at this point. Especially since you got rid of your good Grow Match Enabler.
He wants the 2/2 on the board to hit armor off. He doesn't want 2 executes clogging the hand. I can see it. I think both are close. He's gonna Grom here.
I don't agree with that. That's just asking for an Execute.
Oh, especially if he doesn't hit the 2/2. Yeah, he obviously had to go face with 12 damage, but I guess when your opponent just used an execute, you're not expecting the second. Brawl is going to probably play straight into this turn. Oh, he traded, so maybe not.
Yeah, with that trade, I don't think that's an option anymore. Well, I guess it is.
No way to deal with the 7/7, so he's just gonna take a 2 and 3.
He got it.
Yep. I actually would think Armorsmith being played first might have been better. Because if the 7/7 survived, you basically lose, because you have no answer for it. And you use Brawl to kill 2 1/1s.
It did come out in his favor, though, but it was
It
the
did, but it
riskier
wasn't-
play. I was actually just going to say, I was surprised he didn't throw the Armorsmith in, because that's pretty much the standard play in that situation. Because you always want to have something on board when you brawl.
Maybe he felt he needed to take a risk to win.
Oh,
He's a Mystic, wow. Well, that's not useful.
useless.
Probably just throw it in there to deal 4 to the face.
Yeah, that's just something to take off the charge off of the weapon.
That big Game Hunter isn't a good draw right now, but that's so good if Void draws anything to try to come back in the game. It's gonna probably be big, and that's just gonna answer it right away, so that's a really good tool to have to stay ahead.
Well, right now we got back to really going back and forth and heading towards fatigue. It looked for a while like Zhulander was pulling ahead, but went back to the fatigue war.
Yeah.
Zhulander has card advantage slightly because his cards are better, but Void has armor advantage by quite a bit.
Yeah, and if you look at the cards in their deck, they are exactly even right now.
Oh, yep.
So they're going to hit fatigue at the same time.
Zhulander's Alexstrasza is somewhere in his deck still, though, which that might save him in a fatigue match.
Shield block is a pretty good draw. He needs to draw something to play on curve. That works. Saving silence probably for something like Sylvanas. Armoring up is a good replacement for the owl. Belcher kind of feels bad here though because it just doesn't trade well.
Yeah, he's just gonna die to the Shield Maiden.
I would consider holding it.
Yeah, because
He's thinking about it.
he certainly does have the armor where he can afford to take the damage.
Ooh, Alexstrasza, that's gonna allow him to, within a few turns, turn on lethal. Because he has Gromash, Deathspite, and Board. So, if he can get enough damage on the armor, he's gonna be stumbling upon lethal soon.
Yeah, and the Baron Geddon there he's definitely not really going to offer much help now, especially with the big game hunter sitting in Zhulander's hand.
Yeah, which is what I talked about earlier with Big Game Hunter not being a good draw when he drew it, but it's a great tool because comeback cards like Baron Geddon are just going to be muffled.
Yeah, that big game hunter is gonna hurt Void really bad right now.
Wow. Big Game Hunter, then play your own Baron Geddon? No, that would be pretty suicidal.
Yeah, that just kills your 4-2. I don't think it's worth it.
Nah, probably not. Void really needs to get the board back.
But I mean, what does he really have left if you think about it in his deck?
He might have a second Brawl. Very few Warriors run it, but it is a thing.
It is, but the meta slowed down too much for that to be in most decks. I don't
Yeah.
think he has it.
And also having seen the Kezan Mystic, which is a flex card, like something that, you know, you would put into a filler spot, he probably doesn't have room for it. The only other really big threat he may have is Ragnaros that we haven't seen. I think we've seen pretty much everything else.
Ragnaros honestly isn't really a threat right now.
I mean,
Zhulander wouldn't care if the opponent played Ragnaros right now.
I was just gonna say, is this an Alexstrasza turn? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't see why you wouldn't.
He doesn't have a Gromash enabler, but I'm sure he still has some in the deck that he can pull.
He'll get something eventually. The timing on Alexstrasza doesn't really matter. I guess he just wants armor that bad. Or maybe he considers it's a bad time to Alexstrasza.
Well, if he didn't play it, then the only thing I can think of is he's counting on a fatigue war, and he's going to use it to heal.
So is his opponent. He didn't play Acolyte before the Whirlwind.
Yeah, at this point, they're both heading to fatigue. They know it.
So that Acolyte was a terrible draw because it's probably never going to be played.
Alright, so there is the Whirlwind to activate Gromash. But the other Execute comes, so...
That Execute comes at a cost. You really, really don't want to use your Shield Maiden. You're just going to pass, hit the face. Maybe you can come across something to put your opponent low. No Grom activator, so it's not that bad.
There's a whirlwind.
Yeah, he does have the Whirlwind, and that'll also...
It's a Whirlwind. Okay, yep.
It'll also draw a card off of the Acolyte,
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
which now Void is down to 3 cards, and Zhulander's at 3 in his deck as well, so Fatigue is definitely hanging right on the horizon.
I think... Okay, well, I was going to say that he would go for Grom this turn with a Whirlwind, so the opponent draws a card, and then clear the Shield Maiden, but he decided that Sylvanas was better.
Well, there was a few options there. There was that. Geddon wasn't out of the question either, because Geddon guarantees at least 2 draws out of the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a few options.
I think you just sacrifice your Acolyte so the opponent can't make you draw 2 off of it.
And double execute.
No.
Yeah, probably. Actually, maybe not.
Yeah, I
the
was going to
opponent-
say, I think the double Execute would pretty much give the game to Zhulander at this point.
I'm almost out of cards.
So probably Fiery War Axe to kill the Alexstrasza and execute the other one. You're gonna take 8 armor damage, but you have to save execute.
Well, yes, it is the better play with the Fiery War Axe pickup.
Yep. So predictions, who's winning the game from this point?
I'm leaning towards Zhulander, but I mean, anything can still happen.
I think
We don't know what cards Void has left. Oh, that's his last card. Okay, never
Oh,
mind.
that's his last card. Yeah, that's pretty much over.
Yeah, that's over. That's Zhulander.
It's actually not necessarily... If those 2 cards in the deck are not good, and Execute comes down on Gromash, then maybe he can actually outpace the opponent. Especially with that card being Acolyte of Pain. It's never going to be played.
Yeah, that's a dead card, but Shield Block isn't that good either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see, I'm counting here.
I think it's a Bomb Lobber turn on nothing. I'm totally surprised that he didn't play a card.
Yeah, and the
just
Bomb
insane.
Lobber actually will get cleared by the Fiery War Axe.
But that's damage to the opponent's face, and you're in fatigue right now, so why not use a card to deal 3 damage to your opponent? It's not going to clear an enemy. Right now, he would have dealt 6 damage. No, just 3 damage, but 3 damage that he otherwise wouldn't have had. Now it's just sitting in the hand doing nothing. Maybe he just did the math and found out that he didn't need it, because he doesn't need it.
Well played.
Yeah, this is over. Void has lost.
And I guess they are going to run it out here.
Has to play the silence for the extra damage. Bomb Lobber's gonna kill that.
Yep, and with this, it's definitely over.
Well
Yep.
Okay, so Zoolander made quite the comeback there.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Very impressive.
Yeah, and it was even the mirror match at the end was definitely back and forth the whole way through. It was definitely enjoyable to watch. All right,
Like I
so
said, it's the first time we've seen that somebody came back from an 0-2 to take the whole series.
yeah, and I think
Every deck he has against that one deck left.
though I would say that I think that the person that's playing with their final deck is at a little bit of a disadvantage there because the opponent gets the information from having played 3 matches with it essentially if they continue winning, where by the third match they've probably seen the majority if not the entirety of the deck, so they know exactly what they're playing against, they know how to play around it. Whereas Zoolander's warrior was, I mean, granted it's a control warrior, you know generally what's going to be in it, but any of like the tech or flex cards were a mystery to Void. He didn't really know exactly what he was playing against until he saw it come out.
That's true, but Void, all he needed was to win one of those 3 games. And even if odds are against you, they're never a 0% chance to win.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, that has to be so painful to go through, just feeling it that close to victory and just having it slip away slowly. But
Playing 3 long control games and losing each one to lose the series.
yeah, but
Has
all
to
in
feel bad.
all, Void, I mean, definitely great play we saw from him today. I mean, he
Yeah,
finished,
he started out 2-0 in this series for a reason.
yeah, and he finished fourth out of a field of over 100, so that's definitely nothing to take lightly. Very impressed by the showing from him and Zoolander as well in this finals match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those guys play again in our tournaments.
Yeah, hopefully we will have him back because we do see a lot of the same faces each week. And I want to say, it was Zoolander that he actually he defeated Gulator, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe he was. He was the one that knocked him out. Who's one of our regulars that's often making it into our top 8, top 4s on a fairly regular basis. So.
Yes, I was looking through the brackets and it was Zoolander.
Yeah, so he's definitely a good player, and you know it's always nice to get to see new faces too that we haven't seen before. You know, new names, not always the same people, because sometimes they surprise you. It's not always the same decks. It's everyone has their own take on things. It's very interesting to see. So we're going to take a short break right here, and then we'll be right back with the final match, which is going to be Macro Hard against Phantom Frog. So, like I said, we'll be back in a couple minutes, guys.